All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Today we're going to be tackling something that I think is really on a lot of people's minds, and that's how to actually make some money trading.
Yeah.
The material that you sent over is really interesting, and I think one of the first things that jumps out is that it's not just about picking the right stocks.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Right.
It's so much more than that.
Yeah. So how do we even start to think about what it really takes to be profitable when you're trading?
Well, I think one of the key phrases that really jumped out at me from what you sent over was this idea of a confluence between the trading strategy and market environment.
Yeah, that really stood out to me as well, that idea of confluence.
And I think that's something we should definitely explore more. You know, it's not enough to just have a strategy. What does that actually mean in practice?
So think about it this way. You could be the most skilled surfer in the world.
Okay.
But if you're on a lake,
Right.
you're not going to catch a wave.
You need the wave.
So it's really the same thing in trading. You need to have the right market environment to even apply the best strategy.
So that makes the whole idea of timing so much more important than I think a lot of people initially realize.
For sure.
But how do we even begin to figure out, what that right wave looks like? How do you know when it's the right time to implement your strategy?
Yeah, well, there are different, market environments to look at, first of all.
Okay.
You've got your bull market and your bear market. Everybody's optimistic, prices are going up. Bear market, pessimism is ruling the day.
Right.
Prices are going down.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have these sideways markets where prices are kind of stuck in a range.
Okay.
And each of those environments really favors different kinds of strategies.
So give me an example.
So for example, like if you're in a really strong bull market, a trend following strategy might be very effective.
Okay.
If you buy something and it keeps going up.
Just ride that wave?
Yeah, you just ride the wave. But if you're in a range bound market where the prices are moving up and down between certain levels, you might want to use what's called a mean reversion strategy, where you're kind of betting that the price is going to return to an average.
Okay, so already there's so many things to be thinking about.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned these kind of seasoned traders,
right,
before, and it seems like they're able to somehow navigate these shifts almost like effortlessly.
Yeah, I think the seasoned traders are like those expert surfers, who can just kind of look at the water and feel these subtle changes.
Right.
And they've developed a really deep understanding of these market indicators. And they use all sorts of tools to kind of anticipate these shifts. So they're constantly monitoring economic data, they're looking at news events, and even social media sentiment to kind of gauge the mood of the market.
Wow.
And, they really understand that holding on to a strategy that might have worked in the past can be disastrous if the environment has changed.
So it's almost like they're not married to one particular strategy.
No.
They're constantly reassessing whether what they're doing is still right for what's happening in the market right now.
Exactly.
So give me some examples of like these big shifts that could happen that could really throw a trader off.
Oh, yeah. There are all sorts of things. Like, let's say we have a sudden, spike in inflation.
Okay.
Which, we saw last year.
Yeah.
That can totally change the game.
Right.
And really throw off a lot of people's valuation models. Or, imagine a major geopolitical event.
Oh, yeah.
Like a sudden conflict or something.
Right.
That can send shockwaves through the markets and,
yeah,
make investors just scramble.
Absolutely.
Or even think about technology, a technological breakthrough.
Can create massive shifts.
Totally.
Think about the rise of the internet. Companies that adapted thrived.
Yeah.
And companies that clung to the old ways were wiped out.
So it sounds like to really be successful and profitable, you have to be learning and adapting constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a continuous process.
Thinking about this and how important it is to be adaptable,
Right.
It makes me think about this time early in my career where I was so convinced that a particular stock was going to rebound.
Okay.
And I was looking at all this historical data, and I was so sure of it, but I completely failed to see that the market was shifting. There were these new regulations coming in that completely changed the landscape for that company.
Oh, wow.
And, needless to say, I learned a very expensive lesson.
Ouch.
About the importance of staying current.
Oh, yeah.
And being willing to adjust even when you're really attached to an idea.
I've been there. I think everybody has.
Yeah. So to really bring it back to that idea of confluence that we were talking about before,
Yeah.
it sounds like traders need to be really skilled in two areas.
Yeah.
One being developing a solid strategy, but then also being able to read those market signals.
Yeah, you've got to be able to analyze and kind of use your intuition too.
Right.
It's a dance between you and the market.
Absolutely. So I think for everyone listening out there, something to consider.
What are some of those trends that you're seeing right now?
That might be creating those opportunities. Remember, it's not just about finding a good strategy.
It's about finding the right strategy for this moment.
Exactly.
So what shifts are you seeing out there, and how can those inform your own approach?
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Be flexible, and good luck out there.